Back at it for another episode of the Blind by Nine C Show. I am your host, FOBC Note, the Hood Ray Charles, Blind Poppy if you nasty, the voice of the disables. Damn, what else did I forgetting? The official blind stepper. That's what I'm forgetting. The official blind stepper. And today you already know what a podcast is. Sponsored by 265 Canal Street, WTF Media Studio. They not sponsoring, but they sponsoring. And we in the studio, we locked in. I got my boy Wolf with me.
You already know it.
That's my producer and engineer. And today is one of those I feel good episodes, you know. I got the call from my baby sister, Wolf. I got the call.
Good feel episode.
You know, she been calling me like she want to start a podcast, and I said, damn, she talking in my feel, you know, because this one right here gonna be a doctor in another year.
Another year and a half, yeah. Yeah, we pushing a year.
PhD, and I'm like, you know, she the brains, the college, you know. I'm the street, the club, the hood, you know. So for her to call me, I said, wait, hold up. The doctor want lessons from me?
It's something you can help me with.
Yeah. I felt like I graduated out of Harvard when she called me. But we ain't gonna waste no more time. What you want? Wait, hold on. What do you want to be called?
So my name is obviously, I want to be called by my name, right?
Oh,
my name is
Miranda?
Yes, that's who I am. That's my name.
Okay, because I would have called you your nickname. I ain't gonna put it out there.
No, my name is Miranda, but people are gonna know me and will know me as, you know, Dr. Felder on line 1. So that's what we're going with. But yeah, definitely call me by my
Dr.
name.
Felder on line 1.
Dr. Felder on line 1. Yes.
I think you gotta change that because then people know my name. People gonna know my last name and shit. I don't know. You might gotta change that. But nah. So, you know, give the people a little bit of who you are.
Okay, so my name is, as I said before, my name is Miranda Felder, and I am here to talk about my podcast. It's a new venture for me, but something I definitely always wanted to do. It is called Dr. Felder on line 1. On Instagram, we are Dr. Felder _on_line_1, because I want to make sure you guys got that.
A lot of underscores.
It's Dr. Felder on line 1. And that's my Instagram name. I'm starting a podcast that will be dropping in March of 2025. So I'm just here to just let people know about the podcast and what we got going on. So that's why I called you up, because I was like, you already have a platform. I need to be on your platform, letting your people know, letting your audience know what we got going on. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I have a master's in school counseling and a certification. I just got a master's in education. I just finished the requirements for that yesterday.
Talk heavy.
And I will have a PsyD in clinical and school psychology in about a year to 2 years.
Talk heavy.
So that's who I am and what I am. So, and soon I'll be called, you know, I'm Miranda today, but soon I'll be Dr. Felder on line 1. So,
And you know, let me run down my credentials. I went to Kingsborough for 2 semesters. I got 1.5 credit. I ran off on my mother financial aid check.
And then she gonna see this, and then she gonna come and call you up and ask you what happened.
She still asked me what happened with her money.
It's crazy.
I ran off with the check. You feel me? I bought some nice gear and all that shit. And then the second term around, they didn't give me no check, and I stopped going.
Yeah,
End of the story.
She gonna be real upset.
And then let me tell you, the crazy thing about it is, I got 1.5 credit, and that was in math and human sexuality.
So that's the only thing you was good at? No psych? We wasn't good in psych?
No. English fell. No. Biology fell. Art fell. Music fell. Human sexuality, I passed. And that should count as a 0.5 credit.
Wow. Maybe that's what you're good at. Maybe you should stick to doing that.
Human sexuality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to school for it. But what is we expecting from this podcast?
Oh my God.
What is your reasons of wanting to start this podcast? Because you could have did anything.
Yeah.
You could have went to different hospitals to talk to people.
Yeah.
Why a podcast?
So I'm going to give you a few reasons. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how many doctors do you know that you can call right now that you know personally?
I don't know no doctors.
Okay. How many black doctors do you know that you can call right now and speak to them?
I don't know no black doctors.
Exactly.
Either. Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
But I can't call him though.
Right. So that's one of the reasons why I started it. I think like for a long time I realized I had this epiphany, and I was sitting on it for a while. Me and you've had conversations. I also had conversations with one of my best friends who also had a podcast. It's like I am a Black doctor from Brooklyn, right? And I'm over here sitting on my potential, and I know a lot of things. I've always felt like, oh, I want to help people on a small platform, but why be small when you could be big, right? So I felt like I wanted to start a podcast to help people. A lot of the stuff that's going on with mental health and people suffering from mental health is my people. And I'm sitting here with this information and I'm not helping my people. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm the regular girl next door, right? I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Brooklyn. Beat all the odds. I was born to a single mother, teenage mother. Statistically, it say that I would too be a teenage mother, and I beat those odds. And here I am with all this education and I know all this stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm not helping people. I'm selling myself short. So I was like, yeah, it's cool for me to go into schools, hospitals, like you said, and I'm going to be able to help these people in small ways. But I'm not small, I'm big. So podcast is the next thing for me. I need to be able to touch people all around the world and help people all around the world. I'm sitting on this knowledge and I'm not spreading it. I think another thing that made me realize that I needed to speak more about what I know is I had a friend, a close friend, who told me that she was suffering with mental health and even thought about suicide. And to me, that was crazy because I was just like, I'm your friend and I have the resources. And if you felt like you couldn't come to me and as your friend tell me these things, what am I really doing? Am I really helping? Am I really using all this knowledge that I know? No. So I was like, you know what? I have the potential. I have the knowledge. I used to tell like little stories on Instagram. People probably gonna watch it and crack up, but I used to tell little stories on Instagram. I am a storyteller. Like this is what I do. Now I'm gonna use my voice for a good purpose and be able to get my knowledge and put this school, all these degrees, I'm gonna put them to work in a different way. So not just helping people, of course, in schools and in hospitals, but now on a larger platform. I think that was important. So here I am.
Sure, I'm keeping it real with y'all. She do not talk like this when she in the house. She's city girl up 1,000.
But now I'm Dr. Felder on line one.
She came on here talking that professional and all that. This is the Blind But Not See podcast. This ain't the halfway up podcast.
I'm giving both. No, I'm
this
giving
ain't
you
halfway up podcast.
I'm giving them both. And like I think that's gonna be the good thing about like the podcast and the page is just like you're not only gonna see like the business side or the mental health side. Like I'm going to give you all of that. I'm going to give you the tips. I'm going to give you the struggle. I'm going to give you the day in the life and what I do. You seeing me run around. You seeing me with my family. I'm not here to sit here and act like, you know, I'm some big doctor. Like, no, I'm very much, like I said, I grew up in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. I've had family members on my father's house. On my father's side, they suffer from alcoholism. I've seen people in my family suffer with these mental health illnesses that I'm studying every day. So it's like to see these things firsthand, and I have people who are going through these things, and I have the knowledge. What am I going to school for? Not only to help strangers, to help my people. You know what I mean? So it was important for me to do this stuff.
So from you coming from a place like this, how do you escape it? How do your mind get clear from this?
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie to you. Before I came to that, I said he's gonna ask me that. What do I do to maintain my own mental health?
Yeah, because like
I knew he was gonna ask that.
Everybody comes to me and tell me their problems, but
yeah,
it's like trying to deal with a person's problems and still trying to keep myself from jumping off that edge, because every day it is a battle for me. It's like I find different ways. So it's like I listen to music, I listen to podcasts. I keep busy so I won't go into that dark space.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
For me, it's multiple things, right? And you got to find, like you said, you got to find what works for you. For me, and I mean this cold-heartedly, like everybody's going to say it's different stuff, spa, journaling, all those things are good. Meditation, all those things is your way. I promote it. I have patients who use them. But for me, it's like legit like me being social. When I'm social, when I'm with my friends, I tell my friends all the time, they heal me. Every time we hang out, they heal me. When I'm with my friends, even with my family, I do certain things to make sure that my mental health is intact. So whether that's like, I have a friend, I'll go sit on her couch and we don't say nothing to each other, but we together. We're in the same room. Everything that needs to be said is said.
So y'all just sit on the same couch?
We'll have conversation, but we don't talk at the same time. Sometimes we'll have music playing, we both on our phone, but she's there, she's present. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm in a mental space where I'll obviously talk to her about what's happening, but I just need to be around somebody. Like I need to be social at that moment. So that's what I need to do. My family helps me. Like, you know, I call you some mornings I'm going through what I'm going through. Me and you will have a conversation and you'll be the start of my day. Like, you get what I'm saying? You got to set the tone. Oh boy, you got to set the tone. My nephews is a big part of my mental health, making sure my mental health good. I call them, they joking. They joking and, you know, joking around for me. That's it. So I think for me is really being social. Like sometimes I'll call my friend, I need to have dinner. We'll go have dinner. And that heals me. Sometimes I go sit on my friend's couch. That heals me. Sometimes it's jumping on the phone. So for me, it has definitely been being social. And then sometimes too, like I'll take a break. right? Like sometimes I can't be Dr. Felder. Like I need a second. Like, so sometimes it's me saying like, I can't take on your problem because right now I need to make space for me. And I think that was something that before I used to feel like I couldn't do, right? But imagine you're being a therapist to strangers all day, you're studying all day, and then I got to be a therapist to people in my family and then be a therapist to people in my friends.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You get what I'm saying? So knowing when that I need to be social and when I need it to be about me and I kind of need somebody else, and knowing when I just need a second to be myself. I also don't want to neglect the fact that like I have been to therapy throughout my my school has mandated that time for me to go to therapy. So I have experience sitting down with a therapist and talking about my problems and stuff like that. So I'm all in for all of those things.
Yeah, because I feel like all therapists need a therapist.
Yeah.
Pack.
Yeah, they say that. All therapists need a therapist. So that's definitely important. I definitely promote that as well.
All right, so another question. How do you separate from work to like going, like, for instance, like me, I was an EMT.
Yeah.
I don't talk about that much on this podcast, but I was an EMT, and when I went on rotations, we had to pick a kid up from school that was going in and out of conscious.
Yeah.
In my heart, I sat there and said, this kid can't die on me. So like I'm giving my all to this kid to make sure this kid is great. Because at the end of the day, like, and I didn't have no kid at this time.
Yeah.
But it's like I looked at it like I have a niece. I have kids that's around me that I love, so I'm doing my best.
Mm-hmm.
So opposed to you dealing with people that talks about wanting to commit suicide. They feel like they worthless. When you leave out of that session, how do you not be affected by it?
Yeah. A lot of people will tell you all these tactics that they do to leave you behind, but the truth is you don't. And I'll say that when you would just speak, and I'll say that because even when I was like a school counselor, I had a kid who started experiencing and showing signs of like a psychotic breakdown. Mm-hmm. And this was a kid that I love. Like you would have thought this kid was my family member. I loved him, right? And he started experiencing things and hallucinations and delusions and stuff like that. And this was a kid that I had to separate myself from because it was becoming like detrimental to whatever we had going on in the school. And I was his school counselor. And it was hard. Like, it was hard. Like, I felt, I wanted to obviously help this kid. I wanted to save him, but understanding in my head that I can't save everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do the best that I can. I give all that I can. And once that's done, it's the rest is up to them and it's up to their family and their other support system. But I just know that I put my best forward. So when I walk away from a situation, I'm never walking away with regret. I'm never walking away, I'm going to be sad, but I'm never walking away like I could have done more because I always try to do my best. But it's hard. I've definitely went home and thought about, kids that I had to leave and that was going through situation. I definitely leave sessions and I'm thinking about my patient. Oh, is they going to be all right? They're suffering from depression or they're suicidal. I'm worrying about them. Are they going to be alive tomorrow? Like, you're going to think about those things. I'm a human being. And then you grow to care about them. But like I said, I think for me, the best thing to do is just put my best foot forward, give them all that I can, and then I walk away with no regrets from whatever happens at the end of that.
Okay. How long you been doing this for?
Oh my God. You're gonna really make me show my age. I'm young though.
Forever.
No, don't say forever, because I'm young. I want people to know that I'm young and I'm hip. I've been a school counselor in schools for 7 years. And throughout my whole time, I've always been like counseling. I've worked in like group homes with girls and I acted as like counselor. I worked in facilities. So I've been doing this, I'll say well over 10 years, but I was a school counselor for 7 years. But I've been doing this ever since I got my undergrad and I finished at 21. I've been in the field providing people with some type of counseling and therapy.
So being in this game for so long, what are some of the signs that you see a person is having that breakdown? That person is on the edge, ready to go head over?
Yeah, I think everybody's different. I think everybody's different because some people you don't see no signs, right? So a person could be depressed, still social, still hanging out, still doing their thing and go home at night and cry and hoping that they die. Like, you never know. So I think for everybody, it's important to know that it looks different. Some people will show you signs, they'll be home, it'll be sadness. Some people will straight out tell you, I've had people tell me before that, I'm suicidal. And don't have a plan. Some people do have a plan, like this is how I want to die. So I think that it's hard to say because everybody looks different. All I can say is that check on your friends. And not only check on your friends, but check on your strong friends. Yeah. Because sometimes you think the strong friend got it all under control and is handling it well, and they're going home and they're suffering.
Those be the ones.
Yeah. So even the people who are not crying or who are not telling you that they're not feeling okay, they're not feeling themselves or not showing the signs of what we're used to it, sometimes people will smile in your face and go home and they're miserable or they're sad or they're thinking about suicide and they think that life will be better without them. So check on them too.
One of them.
Yeah, like check on them too. You know what I mean?
One
It's
of them.
important. Yeah.
I was too strong for my own self. To a point, I was just like, I gotta check. I'm ready to check out.
Yeah.
I was too strong for myself, and it's like, men don't never feel like you too strong to sit and tell somebody that you are fucked up, you are hurting, you need help, you reaching out for help. Never feel like you too strong for that, because at the end of the day, we all need somebody.
Yeah.
We all need somebody. And what is the the hood, the people that's in the back, the hood people, what is the difference between a psychiatrist and a therapist? Because like when people hear those two words, they feel like they the same.
Yeah.
So what are the difference
So-
between a psychiatrist and a therapist?
The only real difference is a psychologist and a psychiatrist, right? Psychiatrists are people that prescribe medicine. So those
Hold on,
are
what's the two different words?
psychologists and a psychiatrist.
Oh, I learned something new. I just called
Yes.
a therapist and psychiatrist. I learned
Yeah.
something new.
So a psychologist is essentially a therapist too. Like they're like they do therapy, like they can do therapy. But the difference with psychiatrists, they more so like prescribe medicine. You know what I mean? So a psychologist don't prescribe medicine, but they can do testing. They can do, testing. They could do diagnosis and things of that nature. And they provide therapy. With my degree, I can work in both schools or I can work in clinical settings. So I could work in school as a psychologist, diagnosing kids with even like a learning disability, stuff like that. But in terms of if I work in like a medical field, if I work in like a hospital, I'll be doing more of like testing and assessment. So testing you for like, to see if like maybe like schizophrenia, bipolar, stuff like that on a different scale.
Whispering like I'm schizophrenic or bipolar.
No, because you look like
But
like.
you seen that shit, Will? Like she start talking and she start whispering like she telling my business or something.
Yeah, it's just, but they all, like I said, they all, have the power essentially to provide therapy and give therapy. Yeah.
Let's do scenarios. Well, have you ever been in a predicament where you felt like you needed a therapist?
No, I never have. I've been open to the idea more these days, but I've never really thought about needing a therapist before.
All right, let's talk about this, right? Since I'm here,
Oh, there we go.
Let me talk about this,
Scenarios.
right? Because here we go. And I want to go back to what you said a little bit too. Like you talked about a time that, like, you were suffering, and I think even you was a perfect example because I don't like, I don't like to talk about like mental health with the family. I don't. Because y'all call me, one, y'all think I have all the answers, which I don't like. And then two, I feel like sometimes I'll say something like, oh, that look like a little, I'll be like, that look like a little anxiety or depression. Y'all be like, no, that's not what it is. You can't do that. You cannot diagnose them, right? Mind you, like, you feel like I'm the expert in the family, but y'all feel like y'all don't want to say that. But I think like to go back to what I was saying, when you was going through like your depression, it looked very different because today you would be good. We would try to come get you and take you out and we would do stuff and you would be all right. And then we would get a phone call maybe tomorrow that you was flipping out. You was having a bad day. I think with you, your bad days that you show was sporadic. So like one day you will be okay and like we will be hanging out, we'd be fine, and the next day you'll call me and you'll be crying, like, and you'll be like, today's not a good day. And I didn't understand that.
Tell people my business.
No, because we're being honest, right?
No, we being honest.
We're being honest. So that's what yours would look like. Like that's how yours was different because, like I said, the people that was out with us maybe the night before, they would see you out hanging out. Oh, Chris is so strong. He outside this, and this. It would be good. But them not knowing about that breakdown that you had the following day after just being out and being social. You get what I'm saying?
People still say that to today.
Yeah.
Like, damn, he's strong. How you strong?
Yeah.
But people don't understand. It takes a lot for me to be this strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it takes a lot for me to keep a smile on my face
Yeah.
to walk. Because at the end of the day, it's mental health triggers me every day.
Yeah.
Not seeing my child. Not being able to have, like, I'm free. I have my freedom by my independence
Yeah.
of getting up and just going. Oh, I do that shit now. But just getting in the car and driving off and shit like that. Like, that shit can weighs on mental health. Then it's like, at one time, people like, oh, maybe you suffering, you got depression. I'm like, I don't got no fucking depression. Because, like, in the hood, when you hear, mental health, you think of a check. So you trying to say I need a check. Like, nothing's just wrong with me. But then so much shit was happening at one time. CJ graduating, that triggered my mental health. You graduating, triggered my mental health. Not being able to come to your basketball game, triggered my mental health. Running behind Tati in the streets, triggered my mental health. So it was just so much shit to a point. It's like, I went from being a lead person
Yeah.
to not have to be the fallback person. It's like I'm not first no more. I felt like I was in first. That shit weighed on my mental health.
Yeah.
All that shit happened at one time is to a point I'm like, man, maybe they better without me. I took my course. Like I ran my course. It's done. I did what I had to do. All right, cool. Let me just move out the way.
Yeah.
Let me make everybody life like easier.
Mm-hmm.
And shit went from there.
Yeah. And I think that's important. And I like, not to say like to downplay whatever. You went through all of that, but I think like I can speak from the perspective of being your family member and watching you go through all that, right? Mm-hmm. And not only that, being your family member I tell people this all the time. Yeah, we got other siblings, but for a long time it was just me and you, right? Yep. It was just me and you. I tell mommy this all the time. Me and you went through the struggle with her. We went through the struggle with our mother. Where the other ones, when they came along, she was a little bit more, she was more established or whatever.
Shit was easier.
Right, it was easier for them. But watching you go through that, and then me being second born, and then me feeling like I used to depend on you for a lot of things, right? I depended on you for a lot. I used to feel like I did not need a license because you drove. I used to really think that. Like, I don't have to get a license. My brother have a license, so I don't have to drive. When that happened, it was like, oh, snap. Like, girl, you got to go get a license because your brother can't drive now, right? Certain things now, it was just like your brother is not around to kind of do or be there. You have to figure it out. And I felt like mommy kind of took over, like kind of like shelled you, like you were the baby now, and everybody else had to step up and figure it out, right? So I'm next in line, right? I remember, I'll never forget, I think I had a conversation with mommy, and she said, I don't have to worry about you because I know like you're my kid. You got it, right? So she has to kind of like help you a little bit more because of your situation. Help CJ because he's the baby. Help Tatiana because she got kids, right? But she's like, you're the kid I don't worry about. Like you're the kid I know that's okay, right? And I didn't know whether to feel like that was a compliment or like, Mom, wait, like, but not to say that I don't need my mom because my mom is there. My mom is, one of my number one support system. But what she was really saying is like, I know that you're okay. You get what I'm saying? I know that you're going to be okay. And I was like, and then that for me, it clicked. And I was just like, yeah, I'm okay. So now one of my other siblings just need her a little bit more. So I got to be, you understand what I'm saying? I got to be all right. But watching you go through that depression and PTSD was tough.
Sure, that shit kicked
me. It was tough.
That shit whipped my ass. PTSD whipped my ass. I ain't even gonna hold you.
And then imagine you knowing all of these, right? I'm in school, I'm learning all these techniques and I'm doing all these things. And one of the people that you care about the most, you can't help. You can't help. I know all of this information. I know all of these things, all these techniques. I'm out here helping all these people and I can't help my brother. That's crazy.
No, shit was real. PTSD is something real. Yeah. Depression, anxiety. Don't try to turn to medication. Don't try to turn to the proper medication.
Yeah.
Don't turn to the street pharmacists. Don't turn into the alcohol. I did it. It made me even worse. It made me a monster. Kept people away. That's not the right path to go down. I lived it. I've been through it. I can tell you about it. That shit is not good. It's not harmful. It's like, I ain't even gonna say that because it's true, but it's bad. But I made it through it. I'm here today to talk about it. I'm not scared to tell somebody when I'm having a bad day or when I'm going. Because when I'm having a bad day, I call everybody and I'm screaming, I'm cursing.
You like, I'm not. You be screaming. I be like, but wait, what happened?
I'm banging on walls. I'm punching on walls. Now they like, I gotta run to this nigga. What's going on now?
And then everybody, and like one thing I love about us, like as a family, everybody's like getting in their cars ready to come over there. Like, come where you at. Like, okay, you having a bad day, let us all come. Like,
it started off with just 2 people on the phone to 10 people. Oh, he having a bad day.
He's having a bad day. Yeah, he's having a bad day. Yeah,
I done seen people run out of church to come run to me, and that's when I'm like, yo, I got a support system. Now, what about the people that don't got support systems?
And, that's where it gets tough. Like, it's people who don't have support system, but there's outlets, there's resources out there where you can definitely, seek help and talk to somebody. I personally feel like it's good to kind of speak to somebody who don't know you and who's neutral. That's just my opinion. I think that sometimes, I'll be telling my friends stuff and you be ready to crash out. And my friends are very biased because they my friends and they love me and my family, they love me. So they going to tell me I'm not bugging. But I think to go sit down with a therapist and kind of say, well, this is what's happening and this is why I'm feeling this way, right? And kind of figuring out why you keep repeating these patterns. I want people to understand that a therapist's job and therapy is not to fix you.
Yeah.
My job is not to give you advice on what you should do. That's not what I do as a therapist. You have the answers. I am here to help you figure out these things, right? I'm here to allow you to talk through those and figure these things out on your own, because that's essentially what you do. And people don't get that. People's like, oh, I don't want to go tell a stranger my business. So you want to go sit here and tell your best friend all your dirty laundry and knowing that they can go tell somebody?
1000%.
You get what I'm saying? So I think that kind of having like that person who's neutral and kind of being able to talk to somebody who don't know you is kind of better than talking to somebody that you know. Yeah.
And coming from a person that went to therapy at once upon a time in my life, don't run away from it. Really sit down and try it out. Because I went to therapy. I wasn't open to it, but I was forced to because I was wilding out on everybody around me. I was tweaking, so they checked me in. But just being there, I went there for 4 weeks. And every week, it's like we wasn't getting nowhere further. Because as he asked me questions, I'm limiting my answers.
Right.
Because it's like, nigga, I don't know you. You can't relate to me, so why is I'm sitting up here pouring myself out to you for? So every week he like, okay, Mr. Felder, we gonna try next week. Okay, Mr. Felder, we gonna try next week. He tapped me on the back. He said, next week I'm gonna get you. I said, you think so? He said, yeah. I said, all right, we gonna see. And I came in there the following week. I'm like, all right, this nigga is just sucking up my fucking coverage. That's how I felt.
Spending your money?
Yo, because the third week he like, oh, you got shot? Yeah. He said, how did it feel? I'm like, it burns. It hurts. He said, oh, I don't know about that type of pain. The only thing, I fell off the bike and scraped my knee. And I'm like, I know this nigga didn't try to compare a gunshot wound to a bike fall. Then he like, oh, where you live at? It's rough where you live at? I'm in Brooklyn. Oh, I'm all the way in Long Island. Bro, we can't compare. But then in that fourth week, he said, how do your son look? I said, have you been paying attention? He said, I said, I'm blind. I can't see my son. He said, no, describe him. He said, no, I just want to know how he look. I took my phone out. He said, no, put your phone away. How he look? And I got quiet for a minute. I said, you trying to be fucking funny? He like, no, just tell me how he look. Describe him what you know him as. And as I'm describing him, I start crying. He said, oh, you're not that tough. I broke you. He said, now we could get on with our session.
Right.
I said, I'm glad you felt that way because you're not going to see me next week. And I never went back. Left out, it's like everything was happening at one time. I left out, I'm walking up the block now. We across street from Methodist. I'm walking up the block to catch a cab. One of my friends I went to high school with that was in the EMT class that passed it. He came like, yo, Chris. I turn around now, you call me Chris. I'm like, you got to know me because people don't call me no Chris in the street.
Right.
So as I gave him a pound and we brought it in, I felt that patch. I said, damn, this is where I'm supposed to be at. I'm not supposed to be blind. I'm supposed to be on this fucking EMT truck. Like, I work hard for this shit. When I mean they denied me for EMT, and they fought for me because I was on parole. I was on probation. They fought for me to take this test. I'm going through loopholes to get to this test. First time I took it, I failed it. I bought books from Barnes & Noble. I work hard for this shit. And then I'm like, for this shit to get snatched away from me? Then they don't got no answers for me to see again. I'm like, nah, this shit is too much. I went home. I'm in that room, and them voices started in my head like, just check out.
Right.
And then I'm looking like, I'm getting up, I'm walking to the window, and I'm like, damn, is the window the key to go to check out?
Mm.
Then I go back to the bed, I sit down. I'm drinking, I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Then Sean there, he talking to me, and I'm zoning him out. Now I'm not hearing shit. I'm walking down the stairs, I'm hearing them voices in my like, just go. You wasting time, taking up space.
Mm.
I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I woke up, I used the bathroom, I came back, them noises in my head again. I said, fuck it, what them pills? I took one pill, I'm like, let me go to sleep. Now, these sleeping pills that the fucking psychiatrist subscribed to me.
Mm.
I took that one pill, I'm not sleeping. Now I'm walking around the house, my body feeling sluggish. I took another pill, I'm not sleeping, but my eyes just getting low. I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of living this life. I took all the fucking pills. Next thing you know, when I took it, the noises stopped. But then I'm just hearing like flashing in my head like good times. And then the last flash was my son. I said, damn, I'm leaving him. Boom, I stuck the pill down I threw it all up. I'm on the floor because now, like, for that moment, like them pills start kicking in because now I'm weak now.
Yeah.
And I hear Sean like, yo, bro, what the fuck is you doing, bro? I said, Sean, leave me alone, bro. He like, no, I gotta call the ambulance. I said, no, leave me alone. Just let it go, bro.
Right.
He crying, he grabbing me, Desi grabbing on me. I'm like, damn, what the fuck I just tried to do? But for that moment, it was just like, I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
Boom. I go to the hospital. Now they like, let me see if we got to pump anything out of you. They took blood. They're like, nah, it's nothing in his system. He's like, how many pills you took? I said, how many pills is on that fucking bottle? He said, you took the whole bottle and nothing in your system? He said, God was with you.
Yeah.
I said, this God shit we talking about. All right, I'm ready to go. Go where? You going upstairs. I'm like, what you mean I'm going? Now I'm like, what you mean I'm going upstairs?
Uh-huh.
He said, no, you going upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You try to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I ain't going up no fucking stairs. Them two big niggas came and told me wrong. One took my goddamn sneakers, the other one strapped me.
Right.
And I'm riding through the hospital with people looking like, yo, what's wrong? And I'm looking like, yo, y'all fucking embarrassing me like this? Like, what the fuck? Boom. I goes upstairs now. They're like, oh, anything, shoelaces, anything you gotta take off? I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. Them big niggas told me wrong. They came and got it.
See what I'm saying?
I'm sitting in there. I'm like, IMS, why the cup is not coming from this table? They're like, oh, no, you can't lift the cups up. What? I'm going to the bathroom. She opened the door. I'm like, miss, what are you doing? Oh, you can't pee by yourself. What? Then I'm walking to warm my food up. You got crazy. I don't want to call them crazy, but they come in to hug me. Oh, man, can I get a hug? Can I get a kiss? I'm forearming them. I'm like, and then that reality check. I'm not supposed to fucking be here. What the fuck is going on here?
That was your reality check?
Yo, that was my reality check. I'm like, they got me in there with somebody that's really crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm sitting up there and they making noise and he punching the gate and all this shit. I'm like, and I'm blind. I'm like, what the fuck is like, yo, y'all not gonna put me in my own room or something? They're like, nah, crazy people be with crazy people.
Well, you can't call them crazy. They got some type of diagnosis.
Psychotic? That's because
not all people are psychotic. Some people are psychotic.
Well, those type.
There was people there that was having psychotic episodes.
Yeah,
That's
these
fair.
type of people don't be with these type of people.
Okay.
Cause the people's come to my room, dog. Can I get a hug? No.
And I think like what you're saying is too, is like everybody mental health struggles is on a different level. You get what I'm saying? So these are people you kind of felt like you were with people who their mental stability was like extreme. Like, you know what I mean? They wasn't stable at all, right? Like, so these are people that it sounds like were experiencing some type of maybe psychotic break, maybe like some type of hallucinations, delusions, and all those things. And it kind of sounded like maybe you had at home, you was having like, because you talked about like voices and stuff like that, maybe you was having some type of psychotic episode, but by the time they got you to the hospital and the pills was out your system, it seems that your mental health, you was a little bit, you was a little bit more stable than the people you were around.
Telling you what to do, and I'm like, yo, where's the curtains? How I'm washing up with no curtains?
Yeah.
They like, oh, we gotta wash it. I'm like, miss, how I'm sleeping? You at the end of my bed? Oh, we gotta watch you. You going 24-hour watch? I'm like, and then for that moment, I sat there and I really had to sit down and ask myself, is I'm really crazy? Is I'm really fucked up? Like, do I really want to check out this, that? Then it's like, I isolated myself from calling any one of y'all.
Yeah.
But then I call my baby mother and I'm listening. My son just talking to me, Father, I'm coming to your house. And I'm just like, damn, I was ready to leave all of this.
Yeah.
Nah, I got to find a different way. I got to do something different. But I ain't gonna lie. I was in there for 72 hours and that was the best sleep ever in my life. I'm not even gonna hold you. Don't go there though, people. The best sleep
now you're being you telling people that they should go to the psych ward.
Nah, no lie. Cause it's like, I had time to be with myself and really think.
Yeah.
Everything over. It's like, and then I was beating myself up from getting shot to a point I didn't forgive myself.
Yeah.
So that all that shit just weighed all on me to a point I'm like, all right, Christopher, you can't change it. Let it go. I came home and just seeing like the presence of what I mean to people is like, damn, I can't check out now. Even when it's hard, I can't check out. I can't. And I'm here to talk about it.
Right.
To save them, I was about to say to save a mother, to save your life, to save a person's life on that other end.
Yeah.
But you never know what a person going through when they on that couch. You never know when a person going through when they just laying in that bed, hopeless. When they at that desk at work, when they just sitting there like, check up on the people that you love.
Yeah.
Just send them a text. That shit means a lot. I love you. Are you okay? Just the words of I love you does a lot.
Yeah.
Does a lot. But enough of me. Back to Wolf. So, yeah, now what y'all was saying now?
No, so what I was saying is I think that you made like all these points. But one of the things I think too, like you spoke about too, is like your therapist, like you'll go to these places and these facilities and there's people who don't look like you or people who haven't experienced some of the things. Not saying that, people who have differences can't work together in a therapeutic setting. I'm not saying that, but it's important that we have minority doctors. It's important that it's important that I become a Black doctor and so I can see Black kids and help Black individuals, because it's tough when you feel like you can't relate to somebody and you don't want to tell me your story, right? Because they may judge you. If I hear that you up here and you living in a mansion and you got all this money, I'm less likely to want to tell you my story, right? Where if I know that you could relate to what I'm saying and I'm saying certain things, I'm bound to open up, right? I'm saying things like, yo, in the hood, this and this. It's like, oh, okay, I get that. Like, I understand, like, you may know that this therapist went through that struggle. Oh, okay, she do understand what I'm saying. I think that now in this generation, a lot of people don't go to therapy is because we don't have Black therapists who are relatable.
We need more of those.
We don't have the cost, right? So if you got to paying for therapy out of pocket is a lot of money. So unless you have insurance, and sometimes your insurance will cover some of it.
And then sometimes your insurance don't cover the doctors that you really want.
Right. So
they give you the bullshit doctors, and that's what it was. It's hard for me to find a Black, like, I want to go back to therapy.
Right.
You feel me? Because it's day by day. I do still go through a lot. And I need a therapist to talk to.
Yeah.
But it's no Black therapist out here that you hit them up, oh, I charge $150 an hour, I charge $200 an hour. Oh, we don't take your coverage.
And then you got to pay that out your pocket.
And then it's like I'm paying out my pocket. I'm on disability. It's like, how's I'm really doing this?
Right.
I honestly speaking, I feel like they should open up, no matter what coverage you have, you should be able to go to any fucking body you want. Because at the end of the day, your health, your mental health is more valuable than anything.
Yeah. It's very important.
It's like, I feel like they should open it up so we could turn our mental health to mental wealth.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like they isolating and people not getting the proper help because we don't have the resources. We can't sit down with the people that look like us, that understand us, that might been through the hood with us.
It's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of us. It's a handful of Black doctors. It's not a lot of us. Like you said, cost. Not only that, accessibility, right? It's not, you're not finding these places. These places are not on the corner in Bed-Stuy or down to, you got to go to the city to find a therapist. You got to do that. Or like one thing I tell people all the time, the best thing that COVID did in terms of mental health was open up the platform, a telehealth platform where people could receive therapy in the comfort of their home and virtually. You get what I'm saying? I think that opened up a lot of different doors for people who are scared to walk into, a therapist building. People who I don't want to get on the train every day and go to the city to see a therapist, right? So people who now could do that in the comfort of their home. I have patients who feel like that, like being able to, just zoom in is better for them. And they're comfortable, they're home, they feel more comfortable talking in that setting. So I think that COVID definitely opened up different platforms for people to be able to use for their mental health. And that's why I'm here today, so that more people know about them. And
give us some resources.
One of the good resources that I know about, it's an app. Actually, you can get it right on your iPhone. It's Talkspace. Yeah. I think that's cool. I know
Talkspace, BetterHelp.
Yeah, those two platforms. I really like Talkspace because I know people who
sponsor me. Talkspace.
Yeah, I know people who actually use Talkspace, but Talkspace is really good where you can see a therapist and they tend to take a lot of insurance or whatever. And not only that, if they don't take your insurance, they have like payments where you can do like little payment things in situations. Also, what I didn't know when I didn't figure out until I went to school is that a lot of schools that have programs like mine where psychologists are at, like trainings, psychologists in training, they have a training clinic. So you can literally go to a clinic and see somebody like me who's in training, but who has the tools and stuff like that. And you can get therapy from them. And they'll have courses as low as $0 up to $50. Like the courses range depending on where you at. But that's another cheap way to get therapy and to, sustain your mental health.
But Talkspace, what's the other one I said? BetterHelp, sponsor me. I'm talking about mental health here. I'm an advocate of mental health.
Wait, so let's go back. So Wolf, tell us why you feel like even though you're interested, why you didn't seek any services? Like you don't know where to go? Like what we got going on?
I just didn't really feel compelled to
Yeah.
go seek it out. Like I didn't feel like what I was going through was demanding enough. I'm trying to look for a better word. I didn't really know. It's not until recently that I even realized that, like, because sometimes trauma and things that we go through in the Black experience is so normal
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't until like I'm, becoming more of a man, becoming more comfortable in my in my skin, and I'm realizing like, oh shit, like that's not normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just now realizing that there are some things that I could even sit down with a professional and discuss, because I'm just thinking ain't nothing really, it's nothing to talk about. And then you
Right.
realize like, oh, but it is though.
Right.
It is though. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely open to it, but
Yeah.
we all, I think it's levels to trauma. Trauma is it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought always, because my story was not as severe as some people's, like your brother's obviously, that it just wasn't for me. But then I'm learning that, like, there is a space for me to get in there though.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, it's a spectrum, and everything is about conditioning. Like how do you handle what happened to you? It doesn't
Right.
matter that somebody else's situation is so much more like extreme. It's like it could be extreme to you too, based on what level you at. So, I'm definitely open to it.
Right. And I think that's important. Like, and I think like too, like you said, like we grew up in these Black families, like we didn't talk about no mental health growing up. Like I don't want people to
Yeah.
think we did not talk about no mental health
I
growing
feel
up.
like we was born into this world with mental health.
We was not talking about no mental health. We was not talking about how our experiences are affecting us. We didn't talk about how our childhood experiences affected. We did not talk about that stuff. So I want people to understand that this is not something that was talked about in my family. A lot of Black families
don't talk about it.
exactly. And what they say is what happens in this house stays in this house, right? So you keep a lot of things within us. It wasn't until I actually started going like to school and learning and I was able to be like, this isn't, no. This has a name. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, this is called something. We're not going to just say, oh, this happened, and we put it in the back of our head because it happened at 7. No, the thing that happened to you at 7 is the reason why you're acting like that at 27, right? So you want to acknowledge that, and I think that that's what people, try, especially in Black communities, people forget. The things that happen in our childhood definitely affect us. And us not being able to talk about it as kids or feeling like we don't have to work through it because the way we was raised is definitely impacting the adults that we're becoming.
It's putting a choke on.
Yes, it definitely is. And I want people to know that. But I definitely understand where you're coming from because like I said, in my household it was the same way. But now as an adult and now that I have this knowledge and I know it's that, I'm like, no, this is trauma, right? This trauma is impacting the way I deal with certain situations, and this needs to be addressed if I want to be a better person, or if I want to be a better friend, be a better sibling, be a, future one day, be a better mom. Like all these things that I want to become, this thing is going to impact the person that I am in the future. So it's important for me to address it. And I think that that's what people miss out on it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Even people who had great lives, you could live with a family who was very well off and had great situations. All of those things impacted who you are now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your social, all these things impact us. All these things condition us to be certain ways. And I want people to know, no matter how small you feel like the things you went through or your trauma is, or, maybe I got a good life. I have a good life, so I shouldn't have mental health issues. It happens. Right. Everybody is struggling.
Definitely.
And that's important. That's one thing that I wanted to definitely let it be known today. Everybody is struggling, and there's a place for everybody. Right. It don't have to be as extreme as you being in a psych ward. Reach. It could be you going to therapy, even if it's once every 2 weeks, once a month. There's different levels and different resources out there for everybody to address whatever they're struggling with.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody... Don't think you one of them, oh, I don't go through mental health, I don't go through this. You just don't realize it because growing up, I done lost friends that's died that still impacts me today.
Yeah.
When they birthdays come around or good memories come around, it's times like I really have to shut up and just sit back with my mother talk. Because I sit back and I look and say, this woman is strong, and that's why I feel like I am as strong as I am. Because it's like, I seen my mother go through the impossible and never broke down in front of us and kept it going. I don't know what happened behind them closed doors.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know. Like, it was me, my mother, and Miranda in that shelter.
Yeah.
And shit was rough. Like, my mother staying up for us to sleep.
We was in the shelter in the Bronx.
Yo, for us to sleep.
It was
like,
tough.
She's making it work for a better life and everything. And man, that woman is strong as fuck to the day. Yeah. I appreciate her. Like I said, we been through the storm.
Yeah.
And my mother, like, and to this day, she still want to carry people luggage and shit. And I'm like, man, people is grown. Let shit be. Let it go. But she feel like she got that cape on. She can save everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, people like her need a therapist. To lock into a therapist, to unpack. Because you got this shit bottled up so much that you really don't understand how much, like, your cup is really being filled.
And I think, like, you know, I'm not gonna tell her story or sit here and say what she's going through, right? But I think, like, too, she's being pulled in so many different ways. I think that that's important to notice. And I think, like I said, like, people will sit here, look at me, and they'll say, like, oh, she, you know, in school she's gonna be a doctor, she's gonna be a this, and she's a therapist, and she help other people. I have bad days, right? And I think, like, you know, like, I've called you a couple of times. I had bad days, or I called the number one person on my phone is mommy. Mommy is like, she sets my tone. Like, so, yeah. So, like, I feel like my mom is like a fixer. Like, she can fix anything. Like, I'll come to her and be like, I broke something, I don't know how to fix it. She gonna figure out how to glue it back together.
But before you even finish, if the fixer keep fixing, who fixed the fixer?
And that's why I'm here to tell y'all where I could go to get fixed. Yeah. I'm here to tell y'all. I'm here to tell y'all. Not even that, but you being the fixer, you gotta want to fix it. I think that's where we're at too, like, a lot. And I'm saying, like, with us and our family, but I think, like, people in the community, I think that a lot of people, it's very real, and they're like, do I even want to fix myself? Or do I want to fix this? Or, like I said, or maybe this is not that big of a deal. I think that people are still in that stage. So I think that once we get out of the fear of fixing whatever's going on, then we can get down to, okay, this is where you can go to fix it, right? And I think, like you said, a lot of times people hear mental health, they think psych ward.
Yeah.
That is not,
I was one of them.
Or people that hear, oh, you know, maybe, like, even people, you know, I want to advocate a little bit for people who have, like, kids who possibly has been diagnosed or are being tested. It doesn't always mean check. It doesn't always mean your kid. You understand what I'm saying? All these stigmas that surrounded around it. And I think that's why a lot of people don't seek these resources. There's too much stigma. So I've had people say, I'm not getting my kid tested. Like, ain't nothing wrong with my kid.
People ain't gonna see my kid on the short bus.
Exactly. My kid is not, and that doesn't even mean that. Or people not gonna see my kid in this classroom with less kids, or nothing's wrong with my kids. But meanwhile, your kid can't do 3-digit math.
Your kid is suffering.
You get what I'm saying? So I want people to know, like, if people don't take nothing away from this episode, you know, of course, I want people to follow me and follow my podcast and definitely come out for the events and look out for all the things that we're having. But I want people to know that it is okay to seek resources for your mental health. It is okay if your kid is going through something and they need mental health services, if they need to be diagnosed, if they have any learning disabilities. All these things are okay to seek help for. And I think that once, as a community, especially like the Black community, we get past that, because the people that are suffering the most from mental health is minorities. So I want people to know that. And we are the people who seek resources the least. So I want people to definitely know that. But I want people to take that first step to kind of say, like, I need some type of support. It's not working. Because what stays in this house, what goes on in this house, stays in this house, it's not working no more. We're going through bigger things that we weren't going through in the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s. We're going through something that we need something else, because this isn't working. It's not working anymore. So I want people to know that it's okay to seek services for mental health.
Shout out to Charlamagne for his mental health expo every year. It's definitely needed. We need more people to step up and be advocates.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I want to be a mental health advocate. I want to be a street victim, like gun violence advocate.
Yeah.
I feel like it's way more I should be doing that I'm not doing, that I really had to check myself to sit and say, like, I have the opportunity to have this second chance to just save the world.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. And no lie, people, it only take 1 minute to just call a person and just to check up on them. Tell them you love them. Check on them. How was your day? Are you okay? Do you need something? Do you need a air? Sometimes it's not even just money. A person just needs somebody just to listen to them.
Yeah. Just
to vent. Just take that 1 minute out your busy day. Because when they gone, you're going to wish you would have done that.
Right.
And I don't know if they fixed it, whatever the case may be, but that suicide hotline shit is bullshit. I ain't not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be real with it. I called them numerous times.
Right.
They had me on fucking hold for 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
For 5 minutes. Don't you know what I could have done in that 5 minutes?
Right.
I'm gonna honestly be real. Like, I feel like it's bullshit, and it's like, who else probably would have called and didn't get through and checked out?
But they also have a platform now. I don't know when you called, but they also have a platform now with since COVID, they have one where you can like text them too. If you don't necessarily want to call.
That's way before the texting, because I ain't gonna lie.
They have one now you can call in and you can like this, and they have platforms where you can absolutely like text them and they will sit and text you back.
Oh, see, that wasn't out when I was there, because I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
So they doing better. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's like when I was going through, I didn't want to call nobody and put my problems on nobody.
Right.
I called Siri, I said, call suicide hotline. They called it. I ain't need no number, no nothing. And I'm on the phone and I'm just sitting there the shit 5 minutes. And I'm rocking back and forth and I'm crying. Because it's like, I'm at the edge of really hurting myself.
Right.
To really checking out. 5 fucking minutes. Once the 5 minutes is over, like, I hung up. I said, what the fuck they got me on hold for so long for?
Right.
I started listening to Rod Wave and all that. I started feeling better. Then I realized music is like therapy to me.
Therapy to you.
I turn the showers on. I go in the shower. I let the shower run on me.
Did you
I
know?
sit and I cry and all that.
Did you know that like, music therapy is a thing too?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a therapist a couple of years ago, and we did a session like that on this show. And we listened to the song, and she said, how do the song make you feel?
Yeah.
Like, people understand. Rod Wave, Dark Cloud. I listened to that song, and I cried, because it's like, the shit he's saying, it represents my life.
Right.
And it's like, it hits me. Like, when he said, they got to pray for what he did to me. Like, they got to pray what they did. That shit sticks with me. Like, he gotta pay for what he did to me. But once I let that shit go and I forgave the shooter and I forgave myself,
Right.
life became better.
Right.
But that suicide hotline, I was so pissed off. I called them twice. And I was on hold for a long ass time. And I sat there and said, damn, what if that person that wasn't as strong as me was on this shit for 5 minutes and checked out?
Right.
Now y'all want to pick up the phone and say, hello, are you there on the other line? Y'all bullshit. We got to do better.
Yeah.
I'm about to start my own fucking hotline.
It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely other platforms and stuff that you could put and let people know about. But that's also important. But I think I'm glad you did talk about that, because it's all different kinds of therapy, not just traditional where you come and you sit. Some people, you got to find a therapist that works for you. Some people do music therapy. It's all different types of therapy, right? So some people are able to express themselves through music. Some people do the traditional music. It's group therapy. It's all types of therapy out there. So I don't want people to think it's just one way.
They group therapy with the blind people.
Yeah, they have group therapy with specializing people who, who suffer from some type of trauma. They'll have, different kinds that address whatever you're going through mentally. And I think it's important to find the therapy that works for you and to find the group that works for you, or the therapist that works for you. And it may not be easy the first time. You may take you a couple chances, a couple tries until you find somebody, but it's definitely somebody out there for you.
So before we get out of here, right? Just telling people about the podcast, why it's important to follow the podcast, why it's important to lock into your page, the updates, everything. Give the world who Dr. Felder _ line 1 and everything else that you had going on in there. Just tell the world why.
So you definitely got to put it on the podcast so people could be able to follow.
No, we definitely gonna do that.
It's important to to share, and cut your notifications on, just because we're going to be having really, really big events coming up, especially in 2025. The podcast is going to drop in 2025. I'm planning on having a big event where I want people to come out. It's also important because up there I'll be giving tips about mental health, me personally. So it's kind of like y'all getting a little free game, a little free therapy, right? But I'll be up there giving tips about how to manage your mental health, definitely providing resources, which is extremely important to people. Like I said, we're going to have events. The podcast is going to be dropping. We're going to have special guests, and we're going to I'm trying to target all audiences. So when I speak about mental health, I'm not only talking about people who are struggling with anxiety, depression, but I'm talking about mothers who are struggling with postpartum. I'm talking about people who went through traumatic events and are struggling. I'm speaking about people who don't want to go to therapy and are against it and are there to say, listen, B, I'm against it. I'm speaking about people who are successful in their own way, whether it's day-to-day living 9 to 5s and expressing to me how they're able to manage their mental health too. So I think the podcast is going to be so dope because I'm going to have a range of people. It's not just going to be one targeted audience. It's going to be like, you're going to be able to say, oh, wow, I'm going through that. Or, oh, wow, I went through that. And I want that for us. I want that for our community. I want y'all to be able to connect with me at events. I want y'all to show up to these mental health events and get the resources. I'm here to spread and tell y'all where y'all can go.
Blind
so y'all
Poppy
never
will be
have to
there.
question it. Chris will be there, right? He'll be there.
Stop telling people my name, Chris.
Oh, you want me to call you Sino?
I'm Blind Poppy, the blind stepper.
The blind stepper.
She getting deep into
The
it. This
blind
ain't
stepper will
therapy.
be there. And I also think, it'll be a way for people to connect with me. I think like for other Black women who are interested in becoming doctors. I know I had people who reached out to me and asked me about the process, and I share my information privately. But now I want to put it out publicly. Like, this is what
So
you
you
can
could
do.
DM her in the inbox,
Yes, you
ask her
can.
questions, she's
Yes, you
willing to
can.
answer it and all that.
Yes, you can.
She'll be nice to y'all because she's not nice to
I am nice to you. I'm gonna be nice to y'all, and I'm definitely gonna give y'all the game. And I feel like that's important because nobody gave me the game on how you could become a doctor, what you have to do, what is the steps you have to do. You could take this route, you could take that route. And I kind of figured it out as I went along. So anybody who see me and be like, oh, I want to go to school and I want to be a clinical psychologist or I want to be a school psychologist, I'm gonna tell you how you could do it, where you should look, where you should start. I'm not hiding no game from my people anymore. I'm giving the information. So it's important that you guys follow me. I'm on Instagram at Dr.Felder _on_line_1 because Dr. Felder's always on line 1. So
Ooh. Bars. Before we got in, what you got anything to say?
Man, I think y'all did great. I think this is amazing. I'm looking forward to listening to your podcast.
oh, thank you.
I don't know. I see a connection with the halfway up because Wolfie talking that.
I mean, me and Wolf could do
like
something.
he like a Dr. Umar. I heard.
I'm just saying.
People say he like a Dr. Umar.
I might need Wolf to come sit down and talk to me about some mental health and what's going on. We got to talk about some stuff that's going on. I'm here for it.
Wolf be saying some words that you got to whip out the dictionary and all that shit for.
Not even.
It's like y'all going back and forth because on the couch, I was there. She'll sound like this in the house and all that shit. But let's not forget, for the love of Blonde Poppy.
Yes.
For the love of Blonde Poppy, ladies, Blonde Benassi NYC, DM me. We setting up some auditions. Oh, Miranda, we need Melly to sponsor the podcast for the
wow, putting me on the spot.
Yeah, we need Melly to sponsor for the love of Blonde Poppy.
Wow,
he got the restaurant, Wolf, so tell him to bring the food in.
They are calling
for that.
I'm gonna give them a shout out because they're one of my favorite restaurants right now in Brooklyn. So go check out Brooklyn Residency. They're in Bed-Stuy. Great food, great brunch on a Sunday.
It's about good rum punch.
You put me on the spot. I'm gonna definitely connect y'all so that y'all can do y'all thing and see what y'all could do here. I think y'all do amazing things. Shout out to him.
The podcast with the food and all that. Yeah, we got some work coming up, but for the love of Blonde Poppy, definitely ladies. If you needed a sexy chocolate, lick his lips like LL.
Oh God.
Now
this is a love connection.
I could sing a tune or two, Make it like, damn, his touch is that touch. Tap into for the love of Blonde Poppy. I got my dog Wolf producing. Y'all want to pick some girls out? Because my type.
I am not.
What's your type,
I want to do mental health.
I love all women, you feel me?
Okay. So
but them short, thick, body yaddies.
All right, that's enough.
Y'all melts my heart every guy.
Well, I just want to do mental health. I just want to help people.
We can keep it strictly mental health.
I want to do. I want to do mental health. I don't want to play dating connecting. I don't want to do it.
Why not?
I don't want to play love doctor. I just want to be Dr. Felder on line 1. That's it.
But you know where you can find me at? Blonde Benassi, NYC. Each and every Wednesdays we dropping that heat. Wolf, where we can find you at?
You can find me at _Wolf Taylor at the Halfway Up podcast. I'm somewhere saying some shit. Yeah.
All the time. I'm still waiting for that invitation. And follow my new page, the official _Blonde Stepper. We going up, we going viral. I'm showing y'all my everyday life data. And check out the merch coming soon. That Blonde Benassi merch coming soon.
Yeah, the merch.
We let you know where you could get that from, and we just gonna leave on tell a friend. Turn your mental health into mental wealth.
There we go.
And we out of here.
Out of here.
Blonde Stepper.